Welcome to the delayed episode 28. I'm your host, Rich.
I'm Mike. How's everybody doing?
And what I should have said, episode 28 of Lights, Camera, Pop. I want to do the radio voice. Lights, Camera, Pop. I miss the whole radio days.
I'm telling you.
Oh, what's been up, man? Like, sorry for everybody like out there who's listening. Like, all of our fans. Like, last week was just kind of a blur, and it was like a fever dream. Like, Sundays started off. Sundays when we record, so like you guys have already known that. And we release on Monday. So Sunday we both had things going on, and then we're like, oh, we'll record on Monday. Then Mike got stuck at work. Then we'll record on Tuesday. And I ended up having to do late night runs at the store. And it was just like one thing after another. It was just, we couldn't lock in a time. So just know I apologize. And just for that, this week, we're going to make it up to you. And we're going to give you a bonus episode for episode 29 on Wednesday. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, there we go. I mean, like you said, like life kind of got in the way of living with us. Like you said, like I got like really nailed at work. So just we kind of just kept pushing it back, and it just well, you read my thing on Instagram if you're a fan of ours. Yeah, so I apologize. We weren't able to record, but we'll get you the back on track this week.
And we'll do the episode that we were planning on doing. We'll do the episode we were planning on doing last week, which will be kind of like our touch, which I hope you guys have. It's December, and I hope you guys have been watching your Christmas movies and everything and TV shows. So what we originally planned is we wanted to release an episode on December 1st of like our countdown of like the 25 days movies of Christmas, kind of like which you guys already have your favorites, I'm sure. But we would just want to let you know what our favorites were and kind of use that as like a fun little guideline if you guys want to watch it as a countdown kind of thing, play along with us or something. I don't know.
Right.
Something interactive.
Right. See what we're into, see what you're into, see what everyone's into, just go from there. But in the meantime, since we are pressed for time, we do have a very special guest, and roll with it, Rich.
Oh, well, fine, be that way. Well, okay, so yeah, we've actually been talking to this guy for a while. You've met him first. You introduced me to him via Instagram. Sometimes like meeting guests is like an online dating service where it's just like you kind of like swipe left, swipe right. But I tell you what, today's guest, he is a storyteller, thrives in the shadows, crafting dark fiction that lingers long after the final page. Originally from Southern Maryland and now 15 years deep into calling Pittsburgh home. He's a U.S. Army veteran, a graduate of Frostburg State University. Man, I can't. This is just amazing, and a dedicated patient advocate by day, by night. He delves into the unsettling, the uncanny, and the unforgettable. His work has been featured in numerous anthologies, including the Jewish Book of Horror from the Denver Horror Collective, Dead Hookers and Gas Station Bathrooms, which you can't get a better title than that.
That just warms my heart on that one.
The Modern Deities Guide to Surviving Humanity from Zombies Need Brains. And so, like, honestly, this is just awesome to have this man on here today. Give it up, and it is an honor to welcome to the show Mike Marcus.
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey Mike, how's everything going?
It's going great. It's busy as always. Between working on new stories and being at events and then my day job, there's always something going on.
How do you keep all of that in? Like, where do you find the balance for all of that?
A lot of caffeine.
Okay,
a whole lot of caffeine. Yeah, it is a balancing act. Unfortunately, I've got a great day job at the VA hospital here in Pittsburgh.
That's fantastic. Thank you for your service, by the way.
That gives me that gives me that ability to leave work at work at the end of the day. And then, I'm a big podcast guy. I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks. So I listen to a lot of that when I'm hiking and walking my dog. And that just stirs up more ideas for stories and new angles to go on things. And then I'm that crazy guy that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning to either write on some mornings or to go to the gym.
Nice.
That's
I'm usually up
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock in the morning because I got to get to work at 4 o'clock in the morning.
I'm usually up at 4 o'clock in the morning, rocking back and forth, deciding whether or not I should go to work or not.
Yeah, I've been in that boat before too. I'm
Actually-
very fortunate. I've been at the VA hospital for a little over a decade now, and it's a great job. I love what I do there, and it gives me the ability to focus my other energies on writing.
That's
Like,
fantastic.
and now,
So,
does-
okay,
oh, go ahead, Mike.
go ahead.
No, Mike, you
Go
go.
ahead, Rich.
No, you got.
All I was gonna say is like, as you can tell, we're professionals. I promise you. What I was gonna say is like, how do you delve into how do you come up with your storylines? Like whenever you're like, what's your process for your
So
stories?
it kind of varies. I've gone about a very traditional manner of getting published. I started off, about 5 years ago now, I guess. And it was actually kind of a dare from my now ex-wife when I was complaining about a plot line for a TV show. And it became, well, if you think you could write something better, why don't you?
I love that.
So I took the challenge, and so what I did was I looked at calls for submission. I was looking at publishers that were planning anthologies, and they contracted some authors in advance, that authors that they knew and were established, and then they fill the rest of the collections with open call. So they tell you, this is the theme, this is the maximum word count, this is when we need it by, and this is how much we'll pay you for it. So
Nice.
I picked one that was a deadline of a couple months out and worked up a story. Honestly, didn't like what I did with it. I ended up scrapping the entire storyline and rewriting it with a different angle that came upon that I just stumbled upon when I was walking the dog one night. Came up with this idea, rewrote the entire story, and sold the very first story I ever submitted.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which is like, it was like, stroke of lightning. So I was like, this is cool. That was fun to do. Let me find another one. So I did another one, found another collection that was looking for it, wrote I channeled an old story from where I grew up down in Southern Maryland about a witch who lived outside of town and supposedly died. And there's a stone in the Leonard Town Square that has impressions on it that kind of look like handprints. And the witch's name was Maul Dyer, and she was supposedly killed by the townsfolk. And I wrote her revenge story.
Oh wow!
And submitted that. It was a collection of folk horror, and sold that one. And then it just kind of took off from there. So I got lucky with the first two. I'm like every other author. For every one that I've sold, I've had 6 rejected. But I hold on to all that. I've got so many stories that I've started or outlined or have half done in notebooks and everything else. So as I start looking at other publications or I get people reaching out to me, I'm like, oh, hold on, I started something that would fit for this. So
That's
then
smart.
it goes back from there. So anything could spark a story idea. I was talking with somebody just the other day. I was actually driving into work, and the song Black Hole Sun came on by Soundgarden. And I'm listening to this, and I mean, I saw them in concert. I saw them in Lollapalooza in like '96, and they were fantastic.
What a time!
I remember that show. I remember.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, it was
What a time
Soundgarden,
to be
Metallica
alive.
headlining it. But I'm thinking about, and this is just in my brief drive from Ross Township into Oakland. So 20-minute, 25-minute drive on a good day.
Yeah.
And my mind immediately went to, what if sun was SON rather than SUN? What would be a black hole sun? And it would be a kid who destroys everything they touch. So I literally have a draft outline of a story based on a psychologist who has been treating this boy all the way up from the time he was a kid into his teens, and he's now in prison for killing everyone.
Ooh.
And everything that she sees over the course of his life, and raises the question of like, do you believe that evil exists, or is it all psychiatric issues, or what? So literally in that course of that drive, I outlined that entire story in my head, based off of just hearing the lyrics from the song.
That's
That's cool.
phenomenal. Now, did you always want to be a writer?
I did. I I was always a big reader. My parents were very encouraging of reading. You know,
Mhm.
we were that family. My dad sitting at the dinner table was reading the newspaper, and my mom had her nose in a paperback. Um, and then so there was that, and then my mom and my aunt were big Stephen King fans,
It all goes
and
back to
they
Stephen
would
King.
get the books and trade them back and forth.
Nice.
And I picked up a copy of Cycle of the Werewolf when I was 9 years old, and it was the one that each section or each chapter has an illustration that goes with it.
Okay.
And that was the first Stephen King book I wrote or read. At 9, I read Cycle of the Werewolf, and I was just hooked. And so I wrote some stories, and so I remember when I was sick as a kid, I was home with like pneumonia or something, and my mom was trying to figure out how to entertain me because my parents both worked shift work,
Mhm.
and she brought in their old electric typewriter. That's when family, like everybody had an electric typewriter, and brought that in with a stack of paper and was like, "Here, entertain yourself." And I just started writing, and I wish I had some of those things I had typed out and written back then just to look at now. But I think it all started there. And then I had some really, really great teachers in middle school and high school that really encouraged it. And
It's
it's just
amazing when you
gone from
have
there.
those
Yeah.
people.
And I initially planned on becoming an English teacher was my initial plan. And then in college, things changed a little bit, and I ended up in mass communication and working as a reporter for a while.
Wow.
So when I met you at the
Mhm.
spooky market, we're talking about Stephen King. I kind of apologize because you remember you're like, man, like I had a customer here couldn't afford one of my books because he bought that Stephen King book off of you.
Hey, yeah, he bought, and there was one of it was like a nonfiction anthology of King's book product or
Yep.
books and so on he got from you. But the thing is, I love that though, like because I love that people get that invested not only in his stories, but any author who over time has a collection that they do, that they've got, you know, a mass of stories, especially ones that are interconnected like his are, that people get that invested in it and come to know the character so well is amazing. It's especially when you think about like I've had some people comment on some of my different stories that they've read and they love a couple of these characters. They either love or hate some of these characters.
Yeah.
And I love the passion of it. Like I almost want to be like, you know this character better than I do at this point.
So I saw you were at a show the other day. Where was your last show that you just got done doing?
I was just Friday night. I was at Penn Brewery for their Krampusnacht. They
Oh,
do
that'd be cool.
a nice Krampus event. There's a band called Slayer that's there. It's a Krampus rock band, so it's Sleighger.
Oh, that's even better.
And
That's
they
so
perform
great.
in Krampus costumes and so on. So I did the event last year, and it was a great event, and went back again this year. It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun to get out there, and I have 3 collections that I'm in of Christmas horror stories.
Really?
Oh, that's
This,
cool.
yeah, this is the Deathlehem series. So it's an annual anthology that's put out of holiday horror. And I've had pieces in 3 of them, and so I have those for it, and then everything else that I have too. It's always fun talking with. I also just really like getting out and talking with people about what I'm working on. The big announcement for me there also was Friday night was the first time I formally announced that in 2026 I'm publishing my own collection of Pittsburgh horror stories.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
Tentatively titled Blood Rites and Other Nightmares.
Ooh.
That'll be coming out in 2026. These are all brand new stories, not revisiting urban legends or anything like that, but using real locations around the city.
Let us know when you do that because if you want to come back on, we'll have you back on so you can like do like a launch and stuff like that. We'd
Yeah,
love
absolutely. That'd be
Oh,
give you-
fantastic.
for sure.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, oh man, I just like what-
That sounds awesome.
It
Like
really
when they-
does.
There's so many cool things. So I'm an adopted Pittsburgher. I've been here for coming up on 20 years pretty soon, and there's so many cool things about this city. that go back to, in part because of how old it is, the history of how it was founded and grew, the different cultural groups that had their own neighborhoods and different areas around the
Yeah.
city. There's so much that's really cool about this place that really ties into horror, that you can do so much with. I'm actually putting the final touches on a story right now that's set at the old Dixmont State Hospital on Ohio River Boulevard, heading out towards Swickley.
Okay, yeah, I
Um,
know where that is.
and there was a mental hospital, a major mental hospital built out there in the late 1800s that was open until the 1980s.
Yep.
And I'm doing a story that's set there just before it was torn down. With some college kids going in to shoot a movie and getting in over their heads. I've got a ghost story set on the Mon Incline. It's going to have about 13 stories. The title story, Blood Rites, is actually set at St. Anthony's Chapel on Troy Hill. A lot of people have heard about it, but it has the largest collection of relics from saints outside of the Vatican.
Oh, wow.
No, I heard that, but I wasn't sure if that was true or not. Is that,
Yeah, they've got upwards of 5,000 authenticated relics. So these all have
amazing
paperwork and documentation. It's an amazing little chapel up there, and it's got a great backstory with the priest who started it, and he came from a wealthy family, and the diocese wasn't going to pay for building a chapel for the relics he collected, so he just built it himself.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's got a great backstory. So I'm using all of that as part of the setting for the main story, Blood Rites, that I'm having occur there.
Yeah, I
That sounds
definitely
fantastic.
want to have you back for that. Like that would be all.
That'd be fantastic.
I definitely got to get a copy of that.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'll see
Is
you
there-
at the next. Hopefully, I'll see you soon at the next one of the spooky marts, and I'll be able to get one off you.
Yep, I'll be back at that, and then I've got a whole schedule with that coming out next year. I'm going to be all over the place with it. I think I traveled some this year. I found great success and a great audience for horror with the Oddities events. So
okay,
I
yeah.
traveled some this year with the World Oddities Expo. I was in Columbus and Cleveland and Baltimore and DC, as well as here in Pittsburgh. And it's a great horror community, and they love the stuff, and did really well. And they were excited when I would be talking about the book that I've got coming up. So I'm looking at how much travel I'll be doing this coming year versus how much I'm going to saturate Pittsburgh and be everywhere with it until people are tired of seeing me.
Well, you can come out to Scottdale too.
That'll work.
We have a library out here. Come out, do some signings.
There's honestly a neat little show that's done out here. Okay, out in the Uniontown area,
Mhm.
and it's called Creature Fest,
Mhm.
and it's a nice little show. I mean, it's not a huge one.
Yeah.
But it's cool. The guy who runs it is named Shane. He's actually going to be on the show at some point in time too.
Mhm.
And that might be a show for you to check out. Like
I'm looking at all sorts of opportunities for this coming year and figuring out what I want to do. So I come from a marketing background. So when I moved up here from DC, I was the director of marketing at Carnegie Science Center at one point.
Oh wow.
And then before that, when I was in DC, I was in the public affairs office at the Air and Space Museum with the Smithsonian. So I've got a marketing museum background. So when it comes to, it's funny, there's so many authors who hate going out and working shows and talking to people and so on. And I'm like,
I don't
that's my
get
sweet
that.
spot. I can get out there and do that all day long.
I was gonna say I
Right?
don't get that though. Like, why wouldn't you want to be out selling yourself?
I think they want to. I'm connected to a pretty good selection of horror authors in particular, and I'm good friends with a lot. And a lot of them are just, they're not extroverts. They're introverts. They like being at home and writing. They network some and so on, and some love going out and doing it. There are some of them that are fantastic at it
Mhm.
and have great setups and do things like that. And others, I get it. It's not everybody's gig to be out there in front.
So
It does take a special person to get there and to talk to people and press the flash, and you know what I mean, like not to sell yourself, basically.
Mhm.
Sure.
So, I mean, like, you're out there, you're putting yourself. This is like your heart and your soul because you just got done writing this book or whatever it is, or that you've been working on for months, years, weeks, whatever. and you're putting yourself in front of a bunch of people, and you don't know if they're going to love it, if they're going to hate it, if they're going to be indifferent from it. And another thing that you should also check out too, not to say anything, is
Mhm.
the Erie Horror Fest too. That's another.
That one's on
thing
my
I think you would
list.
be a good
Yep,
one.
they're on my list for this year. They're Horror Fest, and they do a big Krampusnacht in December also.
They do, yes.
They're on my that's on my list for next year as well.
I almost thought
So
you were
I'll
gonna.
probably see you at the Horror Fest thing, because
Yeah.
we vend that every year.
Nice.
I actually thought you were gonna mention Screams in Brownsville.
Brownsville, yeah, I think that would be kind of cool too, but that one's
Mhm.
It's more of like
extremely small. But I think
It is.
that would be a lot of fun for them. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
100%.
So the other thing I've been doing, and it's kind of a marketing strategy for me also, and this goes back to that marketing background, is I've intentionally put myself in shows and events that don't draw a lot of authors.
That makes sense.
I don't blame you. That's like with me with comics. Sometimes I do a lot of shows and events that don't have a
Mhm.
lot of comics.
Yep. So it's amazing. Like some of those oddities events and tattooing events that I've done, people see me at a table with books and they're immediately drawn because they're big readers or book people. So they're immediately drawn to me because I'm the only one there. And then once they're there, then I get to talk with them. And some of my writing is more on the fantasy side. Some of it's much more intense on the horror side. So I have my table set up in a way that I can kind of talk with them and be like, okay, so are you more into fantasy or horror? Okay, so you like horror. Are you more into the supernatural and the fantastic, or the horrible things that people do to each other? Okay, so this, and then guide them to which of my books kind of fit what it is that they like.
That is genius. That is absolutely brilliant.
Thanks. So yeah, it goes back to that marketing background. And I've had other people come up to me that are like, I'm a big romance reader, and I'm like, I can't do anything for you. I recognize what my limitations are. That's just not a genre that calls to me. So it's there's a time where you continue to talk and sell, and then there's a time you cut bait and realize there's nothing there.
I agree.
Right.
I'm the same way. Like when I write, I've written several screenplays. The one
Mhm.
thing I'm looking to do, it should have been done by now, but it's not. But I want to shoot a film, and I
Mhm.
have two shorts. Well, I have several shorts, but two that's ready to go.
Mhm.
And it's like when I write, a lot of everything that I write is all in the horror side
Mhm.
of the genre, because like I'm not very funny, so I can't really write comedy. I'm not a romantic person, and if I try to write
Mhm.
romance, it'll probably turn out to be porn. And anything else, it's
I mean,
like
there's an audience there for that too. Just good luck finding the actor.
I agree, but
Yeah.
so yeah, I know what you mean. I
Look
kind of stay
no
in my own
further,
lane.
So it's interesting you brought up screenwriting, because I've actually done, me and a group have done a couple of the 48-hour film projects.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, we've done a couple of those. I loved it. It was a ton of fun. Huge investment of time, obviously. That's
For sure.
basically that's a full weekend that you're, from Friday night through Sunday night when you turn it in, like that's all you're doing. And so I was the lead writer on two of them and an assistant director on the second one he did, and I loved them. The first one was actually a comedy horror, which was fantastic, and we did really well with it. And then the group just kind of fragmented and split up, and we all kind of got into other things, and,
Mhm.
and you know how it is. But that was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that process and the screenwriting side of it, where unlike my stories where I have to craft everything within the text, to be able to just give stage directions and a general tone within the script instead was so easy.
Right. I've heard really good things about, and I did hear that, for that 48-hour project,
Mhm.
it's there's a lot of pressure there and everything. One of my former
Yeah.
guests, Todd Wolfson,
Mhm.
he was on here and he had done it too, and he has a film out called
Mhm.
Batshit. And he said that it was a lot of fun doing it. And he said, but there's a lot of
Mhm.
pressure to it as well.
Yeah, I think for the two that I did, because I was helping with the writing and then assistant director and helping with the editing as well, I know for certain on those weekends, from basically I got up at like 6 on Friday morning, went to work, then went straight to everything with that, and then got home again Sunday night at like 9 or 10 o'clock that night. I didn't sleep those weekends.
That's a lot.
That
And
is
just when,
definitely a lot.
but I mean, I spent 10 years in the Army, so if there's anything I know how to do, it's keep myself awake.
I
But
hear that.
but after that level of exhaustion by the end of it, and you're trying to edit film while you're doing it,
Right.
like that was the challenge, is keeping a sane mind while you're editing.
Absolutely. So since you brought that up though about being in the Army again,
Yeah.
let me ask you, like, aside from working in the VA,
Mhm.
being in the military, has any of that trickled into your work?
I've thought about writing some military perspective, and there's been a couple of stories where my characters have been veterans or served to some degree. I haven't written anything directly sort of military action or military horror at this point. I was fortunate. I spent 10 years in the Maryland Army National Guard. Was pulled up to active duty for about a year after 9/11 on a Homeland Security mission. So I was lucky. I didn't see combat overseas. I was on a Homeland Security detail and stayed in the DC area. Um, I have some friends who are or her authors who served and saw combat. Um,
Hmm.
and they've used some of that in their stories and so on. So I think for me, I wouldn't try to emulate that or try to recreate what they've
Sure.
experienced for it, but I think I can use different aspects of what I've known and seen in my pieces. And I do that more as a background for some of the characters rather than making that the forefront.
Makes sense.
I really like writing sort of that horror police procedural where and one of the reasons I like doing that so much is one of my uncles is a retired DC homicide detective, and I've heard stories and I watched him as I was growing up. So there's pieces of his personality that I've used in some of those stories where there's a cop detective kind of lead character.
And it's really cool that you have, somebody there also that can, if like as you're writing, if there's something you're not aware of, that you can also kind of be like, hey, what do you think of this? Is this something
Yeah.
that is relatable, or is it something that you've experienced, or could it really happen, or anything like that?
Right. Yeah, and the thing is I've built like a big network of friends and people in different professions and things like that. For example, I've got a lot of friends that are Pittsburgh city cops too. So I can always and I've reached out to a few of them in the past and been like, "Hey, explain this to me or tell me about this," and so on. And then working at the hospital, I've got friends who are doctors and nurses of varying degrees that I've weighed in with them and been like, "Hey, tell me about this." And then I end up using some of it in different stories.
That's fantastic. I was just, and it's funny because I was thinking about like how some of these writers come up with a lot of the stuff. Like, excuse
Hmm.
me, because I'm not sure. HBO Max has the Pittsburgh-driven show, The Pit. And
Absolutely.
it is a phenomenal show. I just started on a rewatch of the first season because season 2 is coming out next month,
Yep.
and so I wanted to get a fresh perspective of the second season when it comes out.
Hmm.
And I'm just like, as I'm watching, I'm like, it is amazing how real this feels. And it's
Yep.
just like there has to be some coordinator involved in this that they have to go back and forth by saying, oh no, this wouldn't happen, or this is too far fetched. We want to keep
Hmm.
it somewhere right along the right border that doesn't look fantasized.
Absolutely. And it's interesting working at a hospital. And when that first season came out and then looking forward to the second, is the number of people who are like, that was so accurate. I've worked in emergency departments and that is exactly how it works. Or it's just like this, but it used to be like this and everything else. One of the comments that I had from watching that first season from the work I've done and from people I know is how accurately they represented how a social worker works in the emergency department,
Yeah.
which is usually something that's completely glossed over or missed. But the important role that a social worker plays in so many different issues in the emergency department, they nailed it.
And I really like, and it's funny you even said that too, because I thought that was a really cool scene where she got first introduced in there, and
Hmm.
he says she is the angel of this facility and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's just like, that was awesome and very well said.
I'm just glad that Noah Wiley's actually back in the emergency room. Let's just put it that way.
He
I remember
is-
him back in the
He
day.
is amazing in this show.
But and then number two, like you were talking about that, like the accuracy in that show is just on point. It's absolutely
Mhm.
amazing. Just the way they do it, the way they come across, and it's gritty, and I like the way it's shot as well, for
Mhm.
that show. But the cool thing is, again, I like the whole. Remember the TV show 24, the whole 24
I
aspect
love
of
that.
that show. This the fact that it's just one day. The whole season is one day in the life of that show. So,
Yeah,
at the very end, I love when they're all at the end, when they all had the beer at the end,
Yeah.
and they're all talking with each other and just trying to blow off that steam, because you can just kind of tell, like, oh my god, man, we just went through this mass shooting. We had a possible school shooter incident. I mean, it the show is I understand why it won so many awards. Let's just put it that way.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see what they're going to do for the second season.
Oh, I am too.
I am too. This
I mean,
is
they
one
set
of the
the
only
bar-
shows that I'm really, really looking forward to.
They set the bar really high. So I'm hoping that they come in. And it was funny because I was in traffic a couple weeks ago coming home from work, and 279 was backed up, so I was going to cut up and go up Observatory Hill, and traffic was getting rerouted around AGH because they were shooting.
They were shooting.
Oh,
Oh, my.
And I was like, and at first I'm cussing because I'm like, stuck in traffic and I can't make a left here. And then I'm like, those are film crews. Okay, that's what's going on, is they're shooting the new season. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to love going down because I used to work for a lot of companies that delivered in, like, I'm from Fayette County, well, now
Mhm.
Westmoreland County, but I used to work for a couple companies that would deliver into Pittsburgh and downtown
Mhm.
area and everything like that. And one of the places was, I want to say it was a big church right next to, oh my goodness, I can't even remember now. That's so awful. But it was a giant church, and right around the corner they were shooting mine hunters, and it was just so cool to sit there and, like, I used to love going to see all that stuff.
So it's funny you bring up Mindhunter, because I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but all of the footage that was shot that was supposed to be at the FBI headquarters, at the training site and everything else,
Yeah.
was actually shot at the old VA hospital up on Highland Drive.
Really?
Yeah, there, the old VA hospital at the top of the hill, above Washington Boulevard. That that's the old Highland Drive VA hospital, and it was closed 20 years ago, I guess, at this point now. And the government was debating what to do with it. We moved all of the care to either University Drive in Oakland or the Aspinwall campus. So it had been sitting up there just empty. And the Mindhunter producers and everybody came to us and wanted to shoot up there because apparently it was built around the same time as some of the buildings in Virginia for the FBI. So it had similar looks. So they came in, and I was in the public affairs team at that point, and we had to go up and babysit them as they did everything and filmed and everything else. And I remember them bringing in trucks, flatbed trucks with period cars to fill the parking lot.
That's
and they were
so
doing all
cool.
the landscaping. And then we were able to watch them as they did some of the filming.
When
Oh.
they were doing Mine Hunters, me and my son Jeremy, at the time he was probably 8 or 9, and we were in Washington, PA. They're having an Italian festival down
Mhm.
there, so he and I went down there, and a casting lady come over to me and was like, "Hey, what's his name?" And I was like, "Jeremy." I was like, "That's Jeremy." She's like, "I'm a casting agent." She's like, would you let your son be in a TV show? We're filming Mine Hunters. And she explained it, and I was all for it, but unfortunately my ex was not at the time. So
Oh.
Jeremy wasn't able to do it. And so I was talking to him because they wanted me and Jeremy to do it.
Mhm.
But then again, also like work and stuff like that, I couldn't really reconcile it with work,
Sure.
to be honest with you too.
Sure.
And then but I also had a 1975 Lincoln Continental Mark IV car that used to be my father's, and they wanted to rent that off me as well to have in the show.
I'd be like, where do I sign? Just
Seriously. But it's amazing how much filming is happening in Pittsburgh. It's the amount of studio space that's been developed and
I
the number
love
of
it.
productions that are here shooting at any given time. It's I think the joke almost, the joke used to be that you could turn on TV at any point and there'd be a Law and Order episode on. Now I think it's you could turn on at any time and something filmed in Pittsburgh is going to be on.
Right?
Right?
And I
Oh
think
yeah, for
I
sure.
think the Batman thing had to do with that a lot with that too. When they filmed
Yeah.
Batman
The
here,
Dark Knight
like that
Rises.
really just exploded the whole thing in Pittsburgh. And Kevin Smith loves
Yeah.
he always said he loved filming in Pittsburgh.
Well,
Yeah.
that and Steve Carell, Channing Tatum movie, Mark Ruffalo, Foxcatcher.
Yeah.
Of
Yeah.
course, when Channing Tatum was around, everyone was like, "Oh my god!" But
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, I actually took a copier when I was working for the copying company. I took a copier out to the facility where they were filming Foxcatcher because they were printing all the scripts off of them.
Mm,
I thought that was pretty cool. But
that is cool.
We live by a real small town around here called Brownsville. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Brownsville at all or not, but Brownsville has been in a million different films as well.
Yeah,
Like it's really shocking how many films Brownsville has been. They just got done wrapping one not too long ago
with Hershey.
on Milton Hershey on his line.
Oh, right. I remember seeing something about that.
Yeah, then they did a movie with Taylor Lautner and Alfred Molina called Abduction. And one of the probably the most historical diners in Brownsville was in a big scene, and it exploded, which is like really cool to sit there and see that happen and knowing that it was still there. I don't know.
It is still there. Yeah.
I met Val Kilmer in Brownsville. He was filming some like a direct DVD video type of movie.
Riddle.
And I'm driving through Hiller on my way home, and again I had my son with me, and I look over, and I knew they were filming in Brownsville, and like I said, I'm coming through Hiller, and I look over at the fire hall, and there was Val Kilmer standing next to a bus, smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Val Kilmer. So I fly home, I get my copy of Real Genius on DVD, fly back.
Oh, yes.
Of
And
course,
I got him to sign
that's
it.
the one
I'm just
movie you
like,
have to
this is
get.
the reason why I got a physics degree is because of this movie. And he was just like, oh, that's so cool. So yeah, I met Val Kilmer in Brownsville at the Hiller Fire Hall.
And that's funny. I had one moment like that. Well, I had a few, but the one moment pretty recent was it was due to court, and I was in downtown Pittsburgh, and I had just come out of the lawyer's office, and I come out and I look over, and standing on the corner was Seth Rogen. And I completely forgot that they were going to be shooting that pickle movie or
Oh, yes.
yeah. And of course, I didn't say anything. It was just kind of a weird day anyway. So I didn't say, but I was like, oh, that's Seth Rogen. I was like, do I say something or no? Or do I just kind of look over and I just kind of,
Yeah.
didn't want to
Like
seem
normally
creepy.
I'm not like some fanboy when it comes to that. I was like, Real Genius was such a huge part of my childhood.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, it's the reason why I became a scientist for the most part. And I was like, I gotta do this. I was like, if I don't meet him and if I don't get this damn DVD signed, I am gonna I'm gonna hate myself for life. I was like, I have to do it.
You said that, and it just made me think, like, I'm going to make a meme with you in the Spider-Man movie with Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe. I'm like, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Right.
I have you in there with that. We build this
it's
show off of
interesting.
tangents, just so you know, Mike.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I was going to throw in there, like, I think the biggest time I kind of fanboyed, and I got the opportunity to meet quite a few celebrities when I was working at the Smithsonian, just because of the nature of the job,
Sure.
but was actually here in Pittsburgh. I was the director of marketing at Carnegie Science Center when we opened the Robo World exhibit, which had the Robot Hall of Fame in it.
Yeah.
And because of connections with CMU and their robotics institute and so on, Anthony Daniels came into MC
I
the
knew you were
opening
going to say it.
for it.
I knew
I
you
had
were
a
going to
feeling
say
this
it.
is definitely
So
where
I
it was
had-
coming.
So, but to make it even better was, so we had a black tie opening that night for the very first night of it. And he made a phone call and just happened that Mark Hamill was in town.
Oh,
So
all
I
right.
would have the
Stop the show.
opportunity to meet both Mark Hamill and Anthony Daniels at the same time, and it was hard not to geek out over it. And then
I'm sorry,
because
but
I was
I'd have probably been
working,
like,
I would
I'd
have.
have been like, "Oh my God, it's
Yeah.
you! It's
Yeah.
really you!" Like, I don't think I could. Like,
it was a struggle. Like it was like there was a couple of times I went to my boss and I'm like, "Is this real? Like, is this really happening right now?"
Like there is
Yeah.
like Mark Hamill is just iconic. Like no matter
Oh, yeah.
what he's in, like he's always like even like the Child's Play remake as the
Mhm.
voice of Chucky. Like he is always so distinguished that you know who he is.
Absolutely.
oh yeah,
Well, I was just rewatching the other day the Netflix series Fall of the House of Usher, and he is
Oh.
amazing in that.
Yeah, that's such a good show. But yeah,
That
he
was
is
so well
phenomenal in
done.
that.
And but it's like you see him and he does such a great job of disappearing into the characters, but at the same time you're like, holy crap, that's Mark Hamill.
right.
I'm really
Like,
looking forward to
it's just so funny. Like, whenever you say anything, like everyone, if I ever talk about Mark Hamill, all they ever think about Luke Skywalker. That's it. That's like, and
Mhm.
it's like, no, he's been in so much other voice acting.
Well, I was
Everything.
gonna say his voiceover work on its own. I mean, there are people like whose entire careers that would be if they just had his voiceover work, they'd be happy with that as their career.
right.
Right?
Yeah,
Me
he-
included.
I'm really looking for. I've not got to see it yet, and I think it's coming to Hulu in the next couple weeks. But The Long Walk,
Yes,
the new Stephen King.
So that is
I'm
that is
really
one of
looking
my
forward to seeing that.
favorite Stephen King short stories. And I'm so excited. I didn't get a chance to see it in the theater, and I am really looking forward to it coming out on streaming, so I can finally get around to seeing it. But it's one of those stories that it's honestly some of Stephen King's short stories are better than his novels.
Oh, for sure.
When you get into that one and The Running Man, which just came out as well, and Shawshank
Oh,
and The
yeah.
Body, which they turned into Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Stand by me.
They're iconic movies and stories, and half the time people are like, "Oh, I didn't realize Stephen King wrote that."
Oh yeah.
Rich, you and I have had this conversation before. I actually prefer his short stories and
Mhm.
his non-horror stuff
I do too.
over any of his regular stuff. I really do.
For sure. In fact, I'm like I looked at prices. Like I would cut off my pinky toe on Facebook Live. Okay, let's not quote that just in case for the record. I don't want people to take
I was
note on
like,
it.
you know you're talking, and I could probably make it happen. Rich.
Yeah.
Watch what you're saying.
But
Go ahead.
in March of next year, they're doing a screening and Q&A of Stand By Me
Oh,
in Pittsburgh with
Yeah,
Jerry
I saw
O'Connell,
that.
Corey Feldman, and Will Wheaton.
oh wow! I hadn't heard that. That's
yeah,
fantastic.
there's even a little video of them all three together, and you see Jerry O'Donnell. He's like, "Oh, I got a comb, guy."
Yes, I saw that. I saw that just the other day. I was laughing at it.
It's-
They did it they just did it in Jersey a couple of weeks ago, and it's like
Mm.
they did a small run. Like it was like a weird cities too. Like they were like in like Boulder, Colorado, and like some
Mm.
other like weird off the wall places that you wouldn't think that they would do this in.
Yeah.
And now they're expanding it. And I wasn't sure, but I heard Pittsburgh was supposed to be slated. So if that's happening, I'm definitely going to that.
Oh,
That's something
yeah.
I would definitely do.
yeah. Yeah, it's March. I want to say 15th or 16th. I think it was.
Okay.
But yeah. So anyway, guys, we have like really went off on a complete tangent. I absolutely like. Honestly, though, Mike, it was awesome to really have you here and talk about some of this stuff. I really wanted to get into like just the whole title of the one real quick. Just I have to ask the dead hookers in gas station bathrooms.
Absolutely. So one of my editors from Sinister Smile Press had posted a picture on his Facebook page of a sign outside of a truck stop that said, "Please stop leaving dead hookers in our bathroom." And it was a real sign. It wasn't photoshopped or anything like that. We think it was like an April Fool's joke or something like that. But I commented on it and said, "Hey, Bob, we could do a collection around this." And everybody chimed in supporting it. And he came back 2 weeks later and said, "Okay, we're doing it. I need a story from you now." So I wrote a trucker serial killer story set in Breezewood.
Oh, that's
But
great.
because I like doing things a little differently and I like setting it up differently, almost the entire story takes place in a radio station. And the DJ decides to do a confessions call-in show, and you can imagine the kind of confessions he gets on a middle of the night show in Breezewood. And then he gets somebody who calls in and refuses to give his name and says to call him Midnight Rambler. The song Midnight Rambler by the Rolling Stones is about the Boston Strangler.
Oh man, I think where this is going.
And then the caller confesses to being this trucker serial killer who's been dropping bodies all over the place. And the DJ calls him out and is like, bullshit, anybody could say that. And then the trucker starts uploading photos to the station's Twitter feed. And then it goes from there.
Oh wow.
But almost the entire story takes place in the radio station, in the studio with the DJ.
That's so cool. I love that concept.
I love that. That's awesome.
And going back to like all the random podcasts and other things I listen to, when I was working on that story, I knew I wanted to do a trucker serial killer story, but I needed a different angle on it. I was listening to a podcast about mass media, and there was a section on there where they were talking about some DJs in the 80s who got in trouble because they faked having a person call in and confess to being a killer. And they faked it for the ratings.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
my mind, while I'm up in the middle of the woods at North Park with my dog hiking, links my trucker serial killer story with that. And that's where it came together into that storyline.
That's insane.
I like it.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
So,
That's cool.
Mike, where can everybody find your books at?
So the best way of doing it at this point is my website, MikeMarcusAuthor.com. That's the links are all on there to get it from either my publishers or from Amazon. I plan on having my own online store up sometime this winter in preparation of my book coming out. So that's the best way to find those is on my website. You can also get me on Facebook or Instagram. Both places there, both profiles are public, very easy to find me. And I'd love talking with people, and I like having other authors or aspiring authors reach out to me with questions too. I've talked to a few and set up some chats back and forth with some other folks who want to be authors and giving them advice just based on my experience. Believe me, I'm nowhere near a professional at this. I'm not an expert, but I've had some success and I'm happy to share that information.
Mike, I'd love to have you back just so we can talk about that in general.
Sure.
Like talk about like publishing, independent publishing versus being on like a major like publishing house. Like all that sort of stuff. I'd love to have you back on to like kind of like suss all that out and kind of like give anybody that would be like an aspiring writer or whatever, kind of like a roadmap or a blueprint of sorts to kind of give themselves some hope, if you will.
Yeah,
You know?
I'm happy to talk about what's worked for me and where I failed as well.
Yeah.
Like we can do that maybe sometime in the beginning of the new year.
I
Sure.
like that. And I know like I definitely want to get involved into Zoom also. That way we have more time to talk and also bring in multiple people to maybe have like little like discussion panels about different things. I think that would be really awesome to have.
If you ever want to do a Pittsburgh horror panel, I know some really great authors that live here in Pittsburgh and are very well established and very well known, and I'm
Yes.
sure that they would love to do a panel and then talk about the history of horror in Pittsburgh. I mean, Pitt University now has a horror studies program.
Yes,
That's
I'm
awesome.
just gonna tell you now. Yes,
Yeah,
we want to do that. Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
we
we will
will-
definitely
we will
be in
work
touch
that
on
out.
that. Mr. Mike, Punk Rock Mike,
Yes.
where can everybody find you at?
Punk Rock Mike on Instagram. You can also grab me on Instagram at nomad_collectibles_, and I will be at the indoor market on December 20th, and that is in Evansburg. And then next Sunday on the 14th, I will be at the Pittsburgh Night Record Show.
And you can find me at Lights Camera Pop Pod, and Richie Wayne 76. Richie, it just sounds weird, Richie. I don't know. I feel like La Bamba. Richie, not my Richie.
And remember
Weird
Al
Al.
for
Super Bowl
Yeah, for Super Bowl.
2027. We're already
We
pushing
end
for
every show
2027.
for the Super Bowl.
But on that happy note, everybody, have a good week and stay tuned for another episode of Lights Camera Pop. Have a good week, and thanks for getting your geek on with us.
And Mike, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank
Yeah,
you guys.
appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on. It was a great time.